Evangelical testimony must be accompanied with the word. It is dangerous to testify about the works of darkness. I am exposing myself to danger speaking about the enemy. You cannot come forward and begin to speak out top secret information about the president and the government, for you will be arrested for endangering the country. Testifying like this means you are exposing the prince who rule this world, for this world is under the power of the evil one. He does not like his works to be exposed. He will strike back against anyone that reveal his secret. Those who testify about the kingdom of the enemy are be hunted and chased by the enemy. I agree to testify for the glory of God. I was a goddess beneath the ocean for 9 years. I was initiated by my aunt when I was still a child. This testimony will be watched and followed by my enemies beneath the sea, but they have no power over me. To be a goddess means you have become a marine spirit. I was turning from human to a marine spirit, vice versa. One day I was at home at my grandfather. I received the visit of the goddess Sheikh-i-Dinah, who appeared in a turbine that people call gateway. She told me, "Get ready, we are going beneath the sea, for you will be enthroned as goddess." In the submarine world, goddesses are more powerful than mermaid. In order to travel underwater, I was not leaving my body. I was heading to the river. I was jumping with my body at the meeting place of the river and the ocean. There, water rose upward to open the gateway to the marine world, and finally water took me down below the sea. When I arrived under the sea, I found people in a celebration and they were doing ritual like Indian dancing. Mermaid and goddess were seated and waiting for me. The goddess Sheikh-i-Dinah told me, "You must be crowned today. Beforehand you must offer the baby in the womb of your stepsister. We need that blood." I told this goddess, "When you came to my place you never told me of human sacrifice. Why did you hide the truth from me?" I went out in anger and told them, "Give me 1 day." The pregnant woman loved me a lot. I was reluctant to destroy her baby who was still blood in the womb. I tried to cast a spell on one of her intimate clothes. It seems that enchantment was slower. I needed a week to see the effect of my spell. I was given only 1 day, and the goddess told me, "We gave you 1 day, you are failing. We are unable to capture the lady identity. She is failing to appear in our system." I began to wonder whether the lady did not use the underwear. There was nothing indicating that she had used it. Later on, I stole another one of her underwear and took it to the marine kingdom, and placed it on the altar. Upon invocation the spirit of the lady appeared on the mirror, and she was watching us. In reality the womb of the lady was supposed to appear, but we were surprised to see her spirit appearing. The goddess said to her spirit, "We don't need you, we need the blood in your womb for the crowning of the new goddess." The spirit of my stepsister stood there watching us. The goddess did magic prayer to see her womb. All the magic formula were not working. The goddess got angry against me and began to shout at me. She told me, "Why is that all your sacrifice cause us problem?" I replied to her, "Had you told me in advance I would prepare everything beforehand. We cannot go to war without preparation. You were to give me some time." I went back to Earth seeking new formula to destroy my stepdaughter baby. The spirit world function with many system and formula. When you seek God you must learn to apply many formula of prayer. When one is not working, you cannot just give up. You can ask, or seek, or knock. One day I was cooking in the kitchen for the family. Suddenly one of the goddess joined me in the kitchen. On that day we cook for the family, especially my stepsister. Imagine a food cooked by a lady of the sea, it's only destruction. On that day the whole family ate enchantment and the manipulation. In the night I joined the goddess beneath the sea. Since the mother told me that she will name her son Oracle, we began to summon the unborn baby Oracle. It is often wise not to tell people your secret. After calling the name of the baby Oracle 3 times, we saw the plate filled with blood. I knew that we had been successful in ending my niece's pregnancy. I was supposed to drink this blood. I struggled to sit on the throne. I was informed it was because of the power of my name, that is marvelous. We must learn to give children appropriate name. When one of these goddesses learned that my name was marvelous, she breathed heavily, for she knew my name was the issue. In the end she made me sit by her power. When I sat on that throne as a new goddess my fingernails became long, my hair became white, my neuron and veins became transparent. I became like a demon. There was a kingdom prepare. I was to rule this world underwater. There were guards and servant at my disposal. I wore bracelet and crown and I was covered with raffia, which symbolize power. I was told, this crowning ritual mean that you have joined the raging war and battle against God's servant. You must attack a servant of God and kill him, in order to seal and confirm your enthronement and crowning. A pastor was identified in Canada. I was to destroy him. I have never been in Canada, however. When it was time to terminate this pastor, I jumped in the water and flew beneath the ocean like an arrow and reached Canada in the speed of thought. I went out of water recovering my physical body. In mission of destruction I would take the appearance of either white or black person depending on the mission. When I arrived at the house of the pastor in Canada, I saw that he was old and tired. This was my first impression. I said to the goddess that accompany me, this one seems weak, he is not on my level. However, I did not know that the man walked with God. As soon as I looked at his face, I saw that he had a star of God's servant shining on his forehead, and there was 2 rainbow on his forehead. I warned the goddess that he had a sign of God's servant. When I approached the man of God to capture him, I saw that there was a barrier. I am able to extend my hand many kilometers to capture a targeted soul, but when I tried to capture the pastor's soul and bring him to me, there was a barrier. As I kept trying, I saw the barrier dissolving. However, I noticed that the heaven was opened, and God power came down. Since I was persistent, in the end I managed to touch the body of the man of God and got his spirit out of his body. I opened the dimensional gateway in order to take him away. Quickly I saw that there was a barrier before us, and I could not take him away. I called the goddess that stood outside waiting for me, but they were out of reach. They were actually stopping my call. All these goddess Elizabeth, Micheline and Sheikh-i-Dinah would not come, yet the gateway was opened for them to join me. I was stuck there in that house with the spirit of the pastor, but I was unable to enter the gateway in order to take him away. This mission was a failure. When I left I was told to compensate this pastor with another victim. I could not return to the water world empty-handed. As soon as I returned the pastor spirit in his body, I saw the barrier that was erected before us disappearing. When I entered the gateway to come out of his house, I saw the Lady Magdalene, Micheline and Sheikh-i-Dinah, right before the door. I told them, if you were human like me you would join me. I kept calling you many times but you refused to join me. They replied to me, the power in that house was in opposition to us. Had we joined you in the house there would be great fight with that power. I thought these goddesses were my protector, but the only shelter is the Lord. They told me, the goddess who sent you to this mission will not forgive you, thus you must offer another sacrifice to calm her down, because goddesses have no mercy like human. I failed to kill the pastor, meaning I had to kill an innocent soul immediately. I became a vampire at that moment. Vampirism is the spirit of vengeance that does not forgive and want to drink blood. I was supposed to destroy a life to please the goddess. I walked searching a victim at dawn. Finally I found a group of young people praying at dawn. However, one of them was a doorway because he always caused distraction when people pray. This kind of people must be avoided in deliverance and spiritual war. They are either active witch or subconscient witch. In a group of dedicated believer, there are always one that is distracted, and is a canal of the enemy. As these young people were praying, I felt the heat and smoke was rising to the sky. I could not approach, I would be burned. I zoomed these believers and scanned their spirit to check whether I had legality over one of them. Then I noticed an intercessor that was connected with the spirit world. He was an intercessor but a witch. We always seek open door. People always open door around God children, either in their family or among their friends or acquaintance. This witch was an intercessor. I saw that he was bothered by the heat produced by prayer, and he was in contact with the spirit world to cause heaviness and lack of concentration among intercessor. I got to understand that the Lord can allow a witch among us without telling us, if he determined that it is not the right time. When I saw that there was a witch among these people, I called this witch and sent him a friend request, just like people do in Facebook. When he approved my friend request, I began to chat with him. He told me, colleague, I am suffering from the heat of this prayer. Despite all the formula I have applied to weaken their prayer I am failing. I asked him, can you cause distraction among them? She replied, the pastor is praying strongly, it's not possible. I asked him, what's on the pastor hand? He replied he has a phone. I asked her, which song is your pastor ringtone? She said the pastor phone does not ring, it's either in silence or vibrating. In truth, the pastor ringtone was a profane music, though he put it in vibration, but the devil was keen to humiliate him. Beloved, you keep hiding that sin, but the devil will make it public. This witch gave me the pastor number. I called the number in the spirit, yet his phone rang. The pastor phone was actually in silence. Thanks to mystical means I caused it to vibrate and ring, and when the pastor phone started ringing it was playing a profane music. When the evangelist and other intercessor heard the profane song playing on pastor phone, he was distracted. He signaled another sister to inform her that world music was playing on the pastor phone. At that moment, distraction that I wanted has entered, and their prayer were weakened. They were murmuring while the pastor continued to pray in tongue. Very quickly the pastor realized that the evangelist and the group were no longer praying. There was no longer unity of the spirit but separation. These members were shocked to learn that their pastor still listened to world music. They were disappointed. They went away speaking ill of their pastor, yet the Bible forbid us to criticize our leaders. They should have prayed for their pastor, and let the Lord who is his master deal with him. They failed to understand that demon that they had cast out were not far from them. These believers move away speaking ill about the pastor. Else or the goddess Micheline, Madeline and Elizabeth turned to snakes and they followed them because of gossip and critic against the pastor. I remained there focusing on the pastor. When the pastor was walking away I entered a stone in the street. The pastor bumped on it and got injured, and he shouted my mother, instead of shouting the name of Jesus. He failed to realize that this injury was a result of an attack. We must learn to always use the name of Jesus Christ and declare words of authority. When something unexpected happened to us, the pastor should have exclaimed Jesus Christ, but he exclaimed my mother. Mother give birth to children but have no power to protect them. It is God that ensures children growth. In this incident the pastor lost his finger and there was blood spilled on a stone. My spirit came out of the stone and I took the stone that had blood of the pastor to the submarine world. When I got to the marine world, all together with Mermaid and Goddess we sat before the big mirror. First and foremost we weigh the sacrifice to evaluate its weight. I placed the blood in a pot to weigh the soul of the pastor. His identity appeared in the mirror, but there was nothing to indicate that he was covered or protected by God. He was lightweight, he was not heavy in the spirit world. The goddess Micheline and Shikidina said this pastor is not heavy in the spirit world. He is not even covered. Marvelous, you always bring us unsatisfying sacrifice. I said to them, since you made me your slave, why are you complaining? You stay here beneath the water and I have to work in the surface to bring you sacrifice. They replied to me, since you have a throne in this kingdom, you dare to raise your voice before us. Don't you know that we were here before the creation of this earth? I told Micheline, mind your business. I went to seat next to the goddess Gucci, that is popular in the land of man, thanks to her cloth brand. She told me, sit down and let's talk. Don't be vexed. I said to her, Gucci, you told me in the beginning we won't be offering human sacrifice, but the more I continue to work with you, the more blood I am shedding. Gucci told me, we must kill the pastor and then you will become a lesbian, but your name could be the issue. What other are doing easily is always difficult for you because of your name. I would have killed this pastor easily but your name is making it difficult. Gucci told me, we are turning you to man. Gucci is very much in lesbianism and homosexuality, and thanks to cartoon and animation and the movies many children receive the spirit of lesbianism. Note that I became as goddess because I was fascinated by Barbie. The authority she had and the way others were serving her caused me to emulate and wish to become a goddess. I told Gucci, how can I become a man? She told me, the feature of men will be manifesting in your behavior. When I woke up I changed and manifested behavior of men. I was at home when a gateway opened on the wall of my room. There are 3 kind of gateway. Each of the 3 kind of magic have their respective multidimensional gateway. When this gateway opened, I saw adept of Rosicrucianism emerge and landing in my room. They were dressed in suit and I was astonished to see them. I asked them, what is it between you and me? They replied to me, we have come to initiate you in Rosicrucianism. Your name was found in the list of people that are to be initiated. Likewise, you bring up people identity on the mirror. We also checked your identity and record. At that moment I was joined by another group of people of the Mayakari, the Japanese sect. My room was filled with people. I told them, a group must vacate the room that is already filled. My sister sensed the spirit world. If she enter here she will feel your presence.